Apparently, residents in Majorca have protested against feeling squeezed out of their own beaches by the millions of foreign holidaymakers who apparently they blame for unaffordable rent rises.
So, should the number of Brits visiting Majorca be capped? TV presenter and property entrepreneur Lee Juggernaut says absolutely not. He's just come back from Majorca. The Brits have a long-standing love affair with the island, and travel journalist Stephanie Tetchy says a cap on tourists would help locals enjoy living there, and you would never go.
No, avoid it like a plague.
Because?
Too many Brits.
How do you know?
Because, well, I went a few years ago, 5 years ago, and already there was this growing sense of feeling where you can't actually feel like you're relaxing on holiday. What's the point of going somewhere where you're feeling like you're not welcomed as a British person, and you need to respect how locals are feeling?
And so you would support, then, a cap on the number of Brits?
There needs to be a cap on it, Suzanne. It's too much. It's
Lee,
too much.
you were there just recently.
Yeah.
Does it feel like there's a problem? We've seen protests, of course.
I think what you have to remember, during the summer months, wherever you go in Europe, it's going to be saturated with tourists, not just British tourists. It happens all across Europe. The Germans, everyone seems to go there. And a lot of people like Majorca. But there's different places in Majorca, the north, the south of the island. June and July and August time, during the summer months, of course, there's going to be a lot of people. And I understand the locals are obviously frustrated, but it was
because the locals live there all year round.
Yeah, but it's a small minority, and tourism brings so much money to the country.
What about
and it also employs a lot of people on the island. So fundamentally, what they do is work for 6 months during the year, during the summer months, and the rest of the time they can chill. And they need the tourists. They need the cruise boats to come in.
They do need
They need
that.
the jobs.
No one wants to see the Spanish tourism economy collapse. No one wants to see that. But there has to be a happy medium that's achieved, and their tourism model needs to be changed, because at the moment it's not working. In 2022 alone, 16.5 million visits to the island. This is an island here. We're not talking about a big country.
But I think that the issue here is that we're attacking Brits, and it's such a thing where there's this term of Anglophobia, which we use, and it's been used in the media at the moment, where it's always about the Brits going to these countries. Spain.
Yeah, because they repeatedly visit there.
It's not just, you know, there's more Germans that actually go to Majorca than there actually
Lee, I did ask, my first question was, when you were there, did you feel tension or did you feel a responsibility? Because, you know, you obviously supportive of the staff, but part of the argument for capping the number of visitors is because tourists go there, they buy up property, they push prices up. It means that, you know, somebody who might have been serving you actually is finding it increasingly hard, the cost of living, as a knock-on effect.
Majorca is actually a very, very big island, and a lot of the times when we film the show out over there, and especially across Spain, there's certain parts of the island that actually were untouched.
You're talking about a place in the sun.
Place in the sun. There's a lot of places in Spain, southern Spain, Majorca, the Balearic Islands, where perhaps Spanish people would have never gone before. But what we've been able to do is actually discover these places and actually regentrify them. So what we're doing is ploughing more money into them, so the economy does get better. I understand there's a lot of tourists that do go there, but I don't think it's just a British thing. I think it's more other people as well.
I feel like what we've been seeing over the past few weeks is that there is this growing sense of resentment towards British people. And I think as a holidaymaker, you want to know that you're going somewhere and you can relax. And more than anything is that we now need to listen to what these locals are saying and seeing how we can actually have a happy balance here. You know?
Think definitely
and the problem
we
is,
need
like,
to...
the world is big. There's 195 countries in the world, and it seems British people continue going back to Spain.
But that's not a bad thing on British people. But I think British people love Spain, and we're celebrating the Spanish.
Yeah,
what we need to understand is there's a cost of living crisis.
We're destroying their culture and their livelihood.
There's a cost of living crisis.
When I go to Spain, I feel like I'm in Britain.
The prices to fly are quite cheap. So it's actually a nice thing that we're going there to celebrate their country.
In fact, I suppose people in Majorca, they could put their prices up.
Yeah, and I think they should.
I think
because at the moment, for me, I'm sorry, it feels like a cheap destination, and I think if we put, I feel like it's been cheapened. I feel like the quality of a holiday you can get in Majorca is very cheap at the moment, and I think if you cap it, it can make it a luxurious destination that it can be.
And then there's French school kids dawdling on the escalator in London. It's a nightmare. Just saying.
And there's all those Love Islanders in that villa in Majorca as well.
Exactly.
Lee, thank you, so good to see you this morning.